you,
my flexibility has been used up.
Oh, Mother God! I appreciate you might have a little bit left, a little bit of flexibility. But you were talking earlier about speed limits, and that is a very serious concern in my own constituency. And the majority of the people that came to me, and thanks be to God, anyone that gets hurt in an accident, we obviously have extremely great sympathy for them. But anybody gets hurt in an accident, it's of concern. But there's been a low rate of deaths in West Cork, and I pray to God that continues for the people out there. But we're driving in extreme circumstances, Minister, where roads are in appalling conditions. Absolutely, and you've lowered the budget of roads for we'll say improvements to roads in the last week. It's well noted that your own TD from Cork South West saying that this is shocking that you're going to go ahead with it. So if you're accepting you're throwing the towel, your own TDs, you're accepting that this is a dreadful situation. So and there was a report by one of the companies that if there was not enough money spent on roads, there would be the increased number of deaths. We've also not taken into account is that there's a huge influx of people in this country, and there's a huge amount of people working in this country, and that means there's a lot more cars and a lot more people coming and going from their communities, coming and going from their work. And that has to be factored into that, there is going to be extra road accidents and road fatalities due to extra traffic on the road. And of course, not taking into effect, of course, is the public transport. Public transport is scandalous in rural Ireland. We're hearing about plans and plans and plans forever about having new routes and new this and new that. And I think only one route that I'd call a successful route from Argroom into Castletownbere, down into Bantry and into Kilcrahan is the only route that I would compliment the government since this government came into play. And unfortunately, that means cars have to be on the road, and extra cars, and that means extra accidents. And I would like to touch on the fact that Deputy Healy-Rae spoke about here, is about the new licensing law. It causes very serious concerns if tractor drivers, and it is road traffic, they're on the road and they're backing into sites and they're working on sites, and a lot of them working, they're very diligent young workers, that now they're going to have an Arctic licence. And Minister, was it you or was it Minister Ryan that wrote this into play, or are we incorrect? Maybe we're totally incorrect and that they won't need an Arctic licence, because if this is the case, it could lead to 3,000 to 4,000 job losses throughout the country. It could lead to projects, building sites. People have to vacate building sites, the same as the roads. They'll have to, roads being worked on, projects will have to be halted. So, Minister, you have to come clear on that issue. It's a very serious concern. It seems to be like some sneaky kind of thing that has filtered in. That wouldn't surprise me, the way things are worked here. In relation to roads, you can see, I find that people that are driving on the roads at this present time are finding it more difficult because roads are narrowing, there's new pathways being built in, there's beautiful greenways being built, and all of a sudden then you realise actually 2 lorries won't pass on that road and nobody gets fired because of that. I know one road in Castletownbere that if there was a lorry came with a high mech and they met each other, they have to go up on the footpath to pass each other. That's outrageous. So somebody needs to lose a job over that to make such a cock-up in relation to their jobs. So what I'm saying is that, you look at the N71 and R586 in West Cork roads from Bandon all the way down into Bantry via Inniskeen, Ballyneen, Dunmanway. There has no money been spent on them, not even pothole repair sometimes. Look at the N71, the Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, the only bit of work that's been done was the bypass in Skibbereen. And if you spend money on roads, you won't have fatalities. You won't have the desperate attempt people are to try and drive, because you could be in a case that you could be held up 15 or 20 miles an hour on the N71. The main route into West Cork. Imagine being held up all that length of time. You could be held up doing 20, 25, 30 miles an hour on a busy day, and you're trying to get to work, and that leads to frustration. But the licence issue, Minister, and you're nodding away there to yourself, that's a very serious issue that needs to be clarified by you. And you are notified about it by people, and we'll certainly be notified. And I'd appreciate if you'd clarify the issue, that it might be totally wrong and that this issue is not going to happen. But people can't, there'd be thousands of job losses if this is going to go ahead. Thank you.